Hey guys, it's Mona here, Craft Klatch. It's Friday. That means it's another Coaster Friday, and I think I just made my most favorite coaster ever. I've thought about doing this coaster for a while, and I have some pieces of wood that I have cut. I have twigs. I have a little bit of mother of pearl I thought I'd throw in there. I have some other twigs. I cut a piece of black walnut. I have dried leaves I'm going to crumple. And then I'm also going to use some copper glitter, and I'm going to use some pigment powders in a blue and a purple. First thing I'm going to do is mix my resin, and that is the Easy Cast that I'm using. And I like that because it's low odor. You can use the Envirotex Light. That works just as well. I've mixed a couple ounces of resin, and now I'm going to just start adding stuff. And I'm dropping it in, and I'm going to pop it down. And the wood likes to float, so we're going to let it sit in here for just a little bit. I'll throw some of the pieces of the black walnut. I'm going to break the mother of pearl into pieces and then throw that in. I have little twigs. It's getting pretty bubbly, and that's partly because I believe that it's soaking into the wood. So I've got a bunch of stuff in there. I'm going to keep adding stuff. I have the wood all mixed in. Now I'm going to take some of this copper glitter. I'm just going to pour some in there. Now this is going to look like a mess when I pour it in, and it may possibly look like a mess when I'm all finished with it. We won't know that until the end. Now what I did in two smaller cups, I poured some of the resin that was in there into here. In fact, a couple of pieces of wood fell into that one. And for these, I'm going to take a little bit of pigment powder, a little bit of the purple, mix it in. I think the first thing I'm going to do is just start scooping some pieces onto here, like this really big one. In fact, what I'm going to do is take all the pieces of wood and all this stuff out, the chunky pieces out, and kind of move them around. Kind of let them fall where they're going to fall, but they can overlap a little bit. Okay, and this one had the piece here, so I'll just put that over here. Alright, I'm going to pour more of the copper down, and then I'm going to take the two colors and sort of just let them mix around a little bit. I'm not being neat about this, obviously. Okay, then even still I'm going to add some pieces. I'm going to take a skewer stick, and I want to mix some of this pigment down to the bottom too. I don't want it all sitting on the surface because then we're going to lose it. Alright, so I'm going to add a couple more pieces. I have all the pieces in here that I want in here. I am not going to use my lighter on this because I don't need to set this stuff on fire because we are talking about pieces of wood. So what I'm going to take is my straw, blow on it, and if there's any bubbles, you can pop them that way. But in this particular case, I'm not even really concerned about it. So we're going to let this sit a minimum of 12 hours. I completely forgot to add my leaves in, and so all I'm doing is crushing them. So the drier and the crunchier, the better. And you can just jam them in there. The pieces in there, try to get them in. And they can be sticking up too, it doesn't matter. But you do want to get them under the resin in areas. The coaster has cured, and what I'm going to do is take this outside, and I'm going to take my electric sander and sand it all down so it's nice and flat. And I'm hoping that it's going to expose some pretty designs and have it look totally different than it does right now. Here's the coaster. I have sanded it. It's nice and smooth. I did a 60 grit, and then I followed it with a 220. So everything is nice and smooth, and you can see the wood pieces. You can kind of see the leaves and everything as well, the walnut chunks in there. I have it sitting on this cup, and I prepared just a little bit of Easy Cast resin, and I have a sponge brush. And I'm working on a silicone mat. You could put parchment paper or whatever underneath it just to catch any drips in case there are any. I am going to paint this on, so hopefully there won't be a whole lot of drips. But I'm hoping this will allow everything to come through, the colors, the wood, and really give it a cool effect. It's really bringing out some pretty colors. Now a lot of these bubbles are going to rise to the top and pop themselves because it is such a thin layer. If you have any bubbles that are going to, that look like they might stay, you can pop them. You can do that gently with the straw by blowing on it, or you can use your lighter. Just be very careful. But the wood is coated now, so it's not like the loose pieces sitting there that you might set on fire. Here's the coaster all finished. I don't know if you can see, there's a lot of reflection going on, but the depth of it, you know, with the pigment powder and the pieces of wood, and you can see the leaves, the color of the leaves in there. And you can see the glitter. Mostly that's on the bottom, but some of it stayed up on top, which is what I wanted. I didn't want it to be all glitter. So that worked out pretty well. I like the way this turned out so much, I think I'm going to try it on a larger scale. I would love to know what you think of the coaster. Please leave it in the comments below. We will definitely see you next time. Happy crafting!